All right, welcome back to the One Bar and Lupagus show. I am One Bar with Lupagus, and it is draft talk. It is Vikings draft talk today.
We're getting back to our roots. Our roots are draftseason.com from way back in the early 2000s. We have been draft whores all of our lives, and now it's officially draft season. We can talk about it, and no one can look at us weird.
They can still look at us weird, but today we're going to be talking about options, names to get to know when it comes to the Vikings in round one. Realistic options, I should say. But as we know, It is very early in the draft process, and some of these guys will probably be like a seventh rounder by the time it's said and done.
And that's the big thing. It's early. You even look a couple years ago, Garrett Bradbury, no one really had him in January going to the Vikings, but as the combine happened, things progressed. It kind of became the pick. Everybody kind of had a feeling that might be what the Vikings do. So again, this can change from now till April, but right now in January, some names the Vikings should be considering, and everybody who follows Vikings should get to know.
Yes, and before we get into that, we have officially set up our Patreon page. Go support the One Bar and Lupagus show. Great perks on a monthly basis.
Yeah, that Bowman package is something else.
Woo-wee!
And also go to my OnlyFans page.
Todd Bowman package. That's the only package available, but it's the best one, so snap it up.
Maybe one day there'll be a Todd Davis package.
Todd Davis. All right, let's do this. Where do you want to start? I'm going to let you start.
Well, let's start with one of the bigger needs of the Minnesota Vikings. And really, I think if you're going to talk about the ideal pick for them at pick 14, to me, it's getting defensive end, getting some pressure opposite Danielle Hunter. That's Michigan's Kwity Paye.
Kwity Paye. I don't know. I mean, the guy's got the name. He's got the body. He's got the athleticism. There's nothing to not love about Kwity Paye. I mean, that Gophers game, I always bring it up, but good God. I mean, he won that game by himself. He is a monster. I couldn't imagine putting him opposite Danielle Hunter.
No, he's quick. He's explosive. He's mean as hell. He can do so much. Rush the passer. He's great against the run. He can get his hands up, swat the ball around. The Vikings defense was so bad because there was no pressure up front. They have to fix that. And I don't think you can just fix it with Danielle Hunter coming back. That'll definitely help. And Wanham does have potential. Let's not just kid ourselves and think he's not going to develop. But getting a guy like Paye, and I think you even got to throw Russo in here at this point. Depending where you're looking, I think those two are pretty neck and neck as the second, third, first and second pass rushers in this draft. So one of them could potentially fall to 14, and I think either one would be a great fit on the Vikings, and Paye is the guy who I really want.
Yeah, Paye is the guy. Something tells me he's going to be somebody that when it comes to workouts, he's just going to light them up. I mean, when you look at his numbers, 11 and a half career sacks at Michigan, that does not even do him justice. He is a guy that will blow those numbers away when he gets in the NFL. Just everything he does is fantastic. And if he was there at 14, I don't even think it would be close. Done deal.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think it would be about 2 minutes would tick off the clock. The pick would be in, and Vikings coaching staff, their front office, and their fans would all be wet.
Yes, they would. Unfortunately, there's a lot of teams ahead of us that also are looking for some edge rushers. We'll see what happens, but Kwity Paye is definitely on our list. And like you said, Mr. Greg Russo from Miami, the untapped raw dog defensive end. The only thing that I don't like about him is he is rawer than a raw.
Like chicken breasts.
Yeah, he's rawer than your chicken breasts on the grill. But an exciting player. So, all right, those are some defensive ends. Let's stay on the defensive line. Big man in the middle for Alabama, Christian Barmore, big body, another guy who's raw. First team All-American this year. Started one game as a freshman, had two sacks. Then came on this year, exploded. 7 sacks this year, 3 forced fumbles, was a menace of that defensive line.
Yeah, and, talk about a guy who's rising. There's a couple weeks ago, you're looking at this guy's maybe a late second, third round pick. Now he's solid in the first round. The Vikings going to take him. I mean, who knows? He'll probably keep rising where he may be. You're hoping he's there at 14. He can eat up blocks. He can eat up double teams. He can generate the interior pressure that the Vikings do not have right now at their in the middle of their defensive line. So you're looking for like one of your biggest immediate needs to fill. Getting Christian Barmore at 14 would be huge, and it would just be a slam dunk pick. Again, right now it seems like maybe the value isn't there, but I really think by draft day he's going to be well worth the 14th pick if he does declare. Because he's a redshirt sophomore.
Yep. And he's again, he's raw, but he would be chucked right into our starting defensive line. He's a monster too. Is he like 6'5", 310 or something?
That's just from the waist down.
Yeah, and I was looking him up and learning more about him is just everyone was even calling for this guy to be their starter last year over Davis. So he's got some love, a lot of love towards Mr. Barmore, and I think you'd look damn good in purple.
Yeah, put him next to Michael Pierce next year. Woo! No one's running on us. No way in hell.
Maybe a couple people. All right, let's go to the offensive side of the ball. Let's go with a receiver, same team, Devontae Smith, Heisman winner.
Yeah, and first blush, taking a wide receiver for the Vikings at pick 14 seems like a dumb move. Seems like it's way down the needs list. But when you think about it, Adam Thielen, 30-something years old, couple seasons left. You got to have a running mate with Justin Jefferson at some point. You don't have it on the roster right now behind Thielen. BC Johnson took a step back this year. Chad Beebe is what Chad Beebe is, your third option slot guy. And there's really nothing after that. So it's a bigger need than at first glance it looks like. And if you can get like a guy like Devontae Smith, who just went off this year, would you have 20-something touchdowns, the Heisman winner, great speed. I mean, just he does it all. And you get him with Justin Jefferson, and you have that for the next 5 to 8 years. That would be huge.
Yeah, this would be a no-brainer at pick 14. And receivers every year, you never know where they're going to go. Some slide, all of a sudden you get some weirdo that goes in the top 10. I don't think it's completely crazy that he's there, but chances are he's gone. He is one of the best playmakers. He's a hell of a punt returner too. Just a highlight reel machine. Kirk Herbstreit was just quoted on like a day ago talking about the guys who have come out of Alabama lately, even Julio Jones, what he had in their rugs. He said Smith could be the best out of the bunch. He's just that damn good. So if he's there at 14, no Vikings fan could complain about going back-to-back receivers.
He would be the best player available, and that's something you got to factor in when you're picking that early in the draft. Sometimes you got to just kick those needs away, and if there's a stud like that staring you in the face, you caress his cheek and you bring him home to Minnesota.
Wow, that was really romantic. Thank you. All right, let's go with the big man up front, a name that we have not been shy to talk about, a very lovable fella at guard from Ohio State, Wyatt Davis.
Yeah, and this guy's he's been ranked all over the map. I've seen him in the top 10. I've seen him in round 2. To me, he's your fallback pick, just because I think you try to get that pass rusher first. You try to help your D-line first. And if you can't, maybe you can move back a few spots and still get Wyatt Davis. But you put him in the starting lineup, and when your guard positions, whether it's left or right side, it's going to be set for the next decade. He's just that good. He's that solid. He's strong as hell. He's tough. He can move. He's an instant starter, and it's not a sexy pick, but it'll be a damn good one, and one I think every Vikings fan would be very, very happy with.
Yeah, this will be very interesting to see where he goes, because you're right, he's all over the board. He's top 10, he's pick 29. He's just all over the place. What sucks about this is, again, as we already know, we don't have that second round pick. So to go to guard and then not get a pick till possibly round 3, when you got needs at defensive end, defensive tackle, that would be a little painful. But you're right. We shore up the position. It'd be one thing if the Vikings have proven over the years that they could find some mid-round guards. They can't. So that's why I wouldn't be that upset if we did take this guy. I mean, I won't say he's can't miss, but he's damn near.
And this is maybe the chance you could get to still fill a huge need and get that second round pick back by sliding down a little bit. I don't know maybe for a receiver, maybe for I don't know, a linebacker or something. Who knows who falls. Another team needing a guy who they don't think is going to be there. They get desperate, they get excited, and you can still get a guy like Wyatt Davis and get the second round pick back.
Yeah, if there's some way that we end up trading back a couple picks, still get one of these guys we're talking about and a second round pick back, my pants will hit the floor.
And Spielman will try. I mean, he loves moving around in the draft, but again, that's a whole nother video. But don't move around either. I mean, if there's a stud there, Devontae Smith staring, I mean, you pull the trigger and you wait.
Yeah, and we'll talk a lot more draft as we go, but my theme is going to be best player available. Best player available. Don't get fancy. take the guy. That's what position the Vikings are in. And speaking of best player available, this could be the guy. Final guy that could be on the radar for the Vikings. Quarterback, North Dakota State, Mr. Trey Lance.
Yeah, I think quarterback is definitely in play for the Vikings. The problem is looking at the teams that pick ahead of them: the Jets, the Falcons, the Jaguars, the Panthers, Lions. I mean, there's so many teams that need a quarterback. If the Vikings, do see one on the board at 14, the best they could probably hope for is Trey Lance, which to me is a guy they'd want because I think they want to change it up. If I'm the Vikings, well, I'm a Vikings fan, obviously, and I want to have a running quarterback. I want a guy who can create things, who can get outside, who can make plays happen with his legs, who's explosive, who's exciting, who isn't just a stand back, throw it kind of a guy. Obviously, I want him to be able to throw the ball at Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and whatever, but just having that dynamic quarterback is something the Vikings really haven't had since, back in the days when Dante Culpepper would take off running.
Hell yeah. Hell yes.
I want to see it. And I would be very, very happy with Trey Lance. He can sit behind Kirk Cousins for a year and then, take it over after that. So I definitely think he's in play if he's there at 14.
Yeah, Trey Lance would be like a Vikings would be a perfect case scenario for him where he can go sit a year. He only had 1 year, and it was at North Dakota State. Granted, he ripped shit completely up. 6'3", 224. He had 2,800 yards, 28 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 1,100 yards on the ground, and 14 touchdowns. Those are like stats that you put up when you're playing in the yard with your friends.
I never had friends.
Well, that's like when you throw the ball up in the air by yourself and catch it. To not throw any interceptions, I don't care what level you're playing on, that's insane. But the one thing with the first round quarterback, again, like we said, there's no second round pick. Zimmer's going into, he's no young fella. He wants to win now. Spielman's got a lot to prove. So for them to go ahead and take a quarterback at 14 and not get a pick till round 3, they must be getting some real heavy assurance from these owners that there's no issues if they completely step on their dick this year, because that is a huge, huge investment for a team that has a lot of needs.
Yeah, that's a great point. Where Mike Zimmer is in his tenure at the Vikings, it's not exactly to the point where it screams rookie quarterback. So, that's something you definitely got to factor in for the future of the Vikings. I'd hate for them to pass on a guy like this just because that's the reasoning, but definitely a legit concern there, and it makes a lot of sense.
And if Trey Lance is there, that might just be a perfect scenario to trade back too. You never know, but you're right. I would love Trey Lance. I'd love a quarterback like him, night and day compared to what we got. He would fit the mold of what the quarterbacks are these days, ripping shit up, and it would be damn fun to watch him. But we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. Again, you mentioned the trade, but it would have to be a damn good package, because what if you pass on this guy and he does evolve into the next great dynamic quarterback, then you'd be kicking yourself for the next 10 years that we had our chance, we blew it. So again, it's a tough pill to swallow.
Tough pill to swallow, just like that big dry multivitamin gets stuck in your throat.
I used to get the Flintstone ones, and they changed the ingredients or something, and it went to taste like shit. So I just try to swallow those, and those things were hard to swallow.
Wow. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're supposed to chew those up. All right, those are our guys for now. I'm sure it'll be ever evolving, like we said, but those are guys to keep your eye on. We'll be back talking plenty more draft. And remember, Patreon, check it out. Link is in the description, and sign up for that, Todd Bowman.
And the description is in the link. Before you go there, remember this: dreamt is the only word in the English dictionary that ends in MT.